tonight.
Today on Roll for Damage, our tabletop craft series, we're doing Magic Ruin floor tiles. Pretty neat, huh? Check it out. We're going to start with a 2x2 square tile. This is this is cut out of EVA foam, the same thing I use to build all my dungeon tiles. I like it for its durability. It doesn't chip or get scratched like the insulation foam. Once this stuff is painted, it's pretty much that way for forever, pretty much. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm cutting a frame out. I'm leaving a 1/4 inch border on the sides to glue the top of the light window that we're going to make. I'm doing a pattern. That way I can use this pattern to stencil out where this glass or this plastic piece will fit on top of my tile, as well as using that to stencil out the actual tile on a clear solo cup. So I'm going to take it, put it on the solo cup, trace it. It doesn't have to be exact or perfect by any means, because this is all going to get covered up with hot glue. So don't kill yourself trying to get exact cuts. Alright, so I got that out. Straightening it out, or trying to get the bend out of it, that way it just has less resistance when we go to hot glue it. So I'm going to go ahead and put a small bead down all the way around, border it, press my plastic window down onto the foam, and you want to put it down on the non-textured side of the EVA foam. You want to leave the textured side to face the table. Once I have it in place and it's dry, it's not going to move on me, I'm going to take that hot glue and I'm going to cover the entire top of the tile. And this plastic solo cup, it's not going to melt under the glue, so put it on pretty liberal. Don't get too thick with it, because the thicker you get, the harder it's going to take for that light to come through that hot glue. And it's okay if it overlaps some. It's not going to hurt. We're going to go back and clean it up anyway. So I'm going to cut me a piece of construction paper, and basically I want to get it as perfect as I can to fit inside that tile, because this is what we're going to draw our ruin on. And I just came up with some random ruin. But after we draw this, we're going to cut this out with an X-Acto knife. Look at that, pretty cool, huh? Alright, so let's take our X-Acto knife, cut your pattern out. I didn't have the blade that I needed to do exquisite detail, so I just went with a little simple ruin. However, if you wanted like a magic circle or something like that, this is easily doable. It's the same process. You just go a bigger tile or a better knife. Alright, so I had actually ripped a little piece, and that's what you see me doing now. I put Scotch tape and taped it to one side of the entire symbol, and you are required to do this, and I'm going to tell you why in a few moments. But if you had any pieces that needed to be put back on into your symbol, the Scotch tape holds them perfectly. And the Scotch tape is useful in several ways. One is, obviously, I could put things where they belong and it'll hold them in place. For two, it holds my magic symbol directly against the plastic. That way there's no daylight shining through that shouldn't be shining through, and my symbol stays crisp and sharp forever. Around the edges where I didn't have a perfect cut of my construction paper, I went back with hot glue and a very thick coat of black paint. I don't want any light shining through except through that ruin. That's the magic key right there. So Scotch tape will absorb permanent marker. The solo cup will not. It'll leave that weird alcohol etchy streaky stuff when you go to color on cups. However, Scotch tape absorbs the ink. So I put another layer of Scotch tape over the symbol, colored it purple, and look how good that looks. That's so cool. So awesome. I tried to do this with paint like 4 times, and it was either too thick or it was not enough to get the color I needed, and it just looked terrible. So 4th time I figured out, hey, let's use a Sharpie. This is me using my wood burning kit tool to add my grid back to the tile. This is a 2x2, so I'm going back and just separating it into 4 tiles, 4 1-inch tiles. I'm not putting deep grooves in it. I just want them to be recessed enough where they're going to hold black paint. That way it stands out and it gives me a nice bold tile appearance. Now I'm going back and I'm trimming off any excess glue that dripped over the side, or maybe some burrs in the cuts when I was cutting the tile out. That way this sits flush with any other 2-inch tile out on the market. I'm using a light table, and I'm putting my flat black on it right now, and I'm staying away from that Rune. Now you don't need to use a light table, I just have one, but you didn't even need to hold it up to a light. You could see perfectly through it with ease. It's not difficult at all. However, do not paint over that Rune with black paint. This is me putting my second color, which is a dark gray, also avoiding that Rune. And it's not that we're not going to paint over it, I'm trying to eliminate how many layers of paint we put over it. Obviously the more layers of paint that it takes, the harder and brighter that light has to be to shine through it. So we're actually going to save that to the very end when we put our final highlights and the brown that I put in my stone textures. Then I'm going to paint over it, and then that's the final product. That's painted. You can't tell that from any other of my dungeon tiles that even is what it is. You can see a little bit of purple there. I went back and fixed that after this video when I saw that. See that little bitty dot right there? But that's under my filming light, which is a super bright spotlight, and it's that bright. That's on my light table, but I'm about to turn the lights out. This is an empty room, or a room without lights and just daylight coming through the windows. And look how bright that is. That is awesome. That is fantastic. I hope y'all enjoy this. Please like, subscribe to my channel. I have more things coming.